Dr. Robert Hare claims there are 300 psychopaths just in Canada, so this is from Canada, but that only a tiny fraction are violent offenders. Who are the rest? Take a look around. Wow, this is a pretty in-depth thing here. Maybe I'll share this one instead of the typical one. Yeah, they talk about the con man, the white-collar criminals. You know, not all of them are going to skin you and cut your head off. This is good. All right, I'm going to share this. Hair.org. Let's go to the root site here, hair.org. Welcome to Without Conscience, Robert Hare's website devoted to the study of psychopathy. Let me just share this whole site, because there's all kinds of links right there. I wanted to see if there's a... Here we go. Well, that's from the Telegraph. I don't know if he respects the Telegraph. I'm not so sure this website is supported by... I think Robert Hare is still alive, so I'm not sure this is supported by Robert Hare. Anyway, I'm sharing it. So check this out, guys, if you want to know about identifying psychopaths. What sounds like pseudoscience to you, Barco? I'm curious. Oh, yes, I agree. I'm not real down with that reptilian complex thing. I'm not sure I accept it. I was thinking about that last night. And it sounds almost like an attempt to make very complex psychiatric conditions simplified, oversimplified. And you know, use something like the reptilian complex the way they describe it there, and they're basically going back to primitive behaviors. And it's, anyway. Now, why would Barco say Kansas City Royals is playing in their second straight extra inning playoff game? What the hell are you talking about? Is that your team? What a weird thing to say in the chat room, considering our topic. Anyway, I shared the Robert Hare thing. I'm going to go share that on the Facebook announcement for this show, so you'll be able to check that later. For those of you tuning in late or iHeart listeners, you can check out these articles that I share in support of the episode I'm doing on the Facebook page, facebook.com/TruthOnTapShow. TOTS is an easy way to remember it, facebook.com/TOTS, Truth on Tap Show. And you'll find the announcement for this show there, as well as all of the links and comments that apply to this episode. Told you we were going to talk a little bit more about education, and we're going to do that very quickly. Fareed Zakaria, I like his reporter, reporter qualities, his journalistic abilities, but I'm not so sure about his philosophies. I'm not so sure how many of them are based in, what would I call it? I think he's incredibly spirited, and I think he sometimes jumps over the edge, but maybe that's required to get ahead in reporting. I don't know. He said this, though. He said, it is now well known that Thomas Piketty, a French economist and author of the 700-page bestseller Capital in the 21st Century, argues the free market tends to produce inequalities of wealth that become dynastic and anti-meritocratic. And anti-meritocratic basically means against those who have earned something. In fact, it basically means that the educated elite run things versus money holders. So the solution that everyone is talking about is taxing the rich. But in reading the book, it's clear that Piketty recognizes that over a long period of time, the main force in favor of greater equality has been the diffusion of knowledge and skills. And he goes on to talk about the differences between the United States and other countries in the world, and it's a pretty quick read, so I'm just going to share that with you real quick. And then I want to get over to some statistics for you. I remember a psych professor asking me in class, I think it was my introductory psych class, and he wanted to know, it might have been an English class now that I think about it. It was an English class, I'm sorry. He wanted to know how important statistics were, using statistics in our writing. And a lot of the people said they didn't really need them. And I said, I do. I need numbers on my stuff. It helps me. It helps me to, I feel like, accurately size up a problem. But I also need to respect the source the numbers came from. And if you've ever taken college level statistics, it'll blow your fucking mind. It's pretty hard, actually. I need the numbers. I like those things. Did you guys see that movie where I think the zombies were attacking or something, and one of the guys goes, you're probably going to survive, man, don't worry about it. And he's like, look, I need a percentage, I need a percentage. And the guy's like, okay, you got a 73% chance of survival. And he liked that. He was happy with that. Well, that was me. That's me. I like the number on it because that feels very accurate to me if it's given by a good source, Australian Special Forces troops will be deployed in Iraq to assist the fight against ISIS. Prime Minister Tony Abbott said on Friday, and its aircraft will also join. Good. I thought Australia was already with us. Jesus. I don't know what's up with Kim, Andrew. I think Kim, she's got 2 boys in school, and she's a busy lady, but she still likes to ghost hunt, and she was going to come on the show the other day, but I can't get my phone lines working. That was when I was having the echo, so I think, I don't know. I think she's just busy with her 2 boys. There's a wealth tax here now. Okay, I'm surprised they call it a wealth tax. Normally they'll bury that in some lingo. Call it, extensive personal property tax for the non-financially challenged. Yeah. Give me something like that and I don't know what you're talking about. But Kim will be back around. She'll be back around. She just, I think she needs to get settled into the school year. Keeping on topic here, I wanted to talk to you a little bit. Let me, America Schools versus the World. This is from The Atlantic, theatlantic.com. Expensive, unequal, bad at math. So what we're going to do here is I'm looking at a chart, and I'm just going to share a little bit of this chart with you. If they let me zoom in on the damn thing, thank you. I was going to say it wasn't loading correctly. So they did this score, and I know you guys probably heard of these, I think they call them PISA scores, but it's P-I-S-A, maybe it's PISA. Share of low achievers in mathematics, and they've got reading, PISA scores, and this is from 2012, the most recent available, and then science. And then they kind of sort them overall. So looking at this, you can see that China is up on top with anything to do with with math. The U.S. Let me go ahead and back out of the chart here. Ah, shit! I already closed the site. Well, the U.S. was ranked like 23rd or something. It just basically gives the specifics on reading, writing, and arithmetic, world standings. It's important to know where we are, and we're not doing very well, folks. Now, I'm looking at an article on Time here, and this says, here's the real problem with America's educational system. You're not going to believe what this guy says. Scott Gerber wrote this on June 2nd, 2014. He said, today's education is training yesterday's students. So what do you think he says needs to happen with education? He's got one overall basic concept. And his concept is this: entrepreneurship. That's what he thinks. That's what education has to go for. And I'm going to have a bit to say about this because, let me give you an example now. He says entrepreneurship offers value, especially in this recovering economy. So why aren't we doing more to support this generation of entrepreneurially minded individuals? 82% of whom are interested in starting their own business someday, with more targeted resources, training, and practical education that would help them thrive. Whether they are building businesses or working alongside startups, many millennials still lack the skill sets they need to flourish. So he starts talking about building up this community that will support entrepreneurship and focus on it. Now, bear with me here, because he says this: 87% of young people express their desire to pursue entrepreneurship at some point in their career, according to our survey. But wait a minute. Who's not going to say that? Who doesn't want to be in business for themselves if it can be lucrative? And plus, you're asking kids? Come on now. That's not a good, that's not a good supporting fact. And then they use that. He's using that, and he's using something about today's economy. Where does he say that at? Yeah, here we go. Whether we're training the next generation of entrepreneurs or entrepreneurially minded individuals, we must ensure our support systems catch up to the current day needs of America's workforce, or risk losing our standing as innovators. The rest of the world isn't going to wait for us to figure that out. And he's talking about, in this article also, that unlike, say, 20 years ago, there is this sudden upstart in entrepreneurs. And you go, why? And he's saying, well, it's because the economy crashed. And he's saying, what I don't really get is he's saying, here our economy crashed, so we have this huge kick up in entrepreneurship. So what we should do, because of that, obviously entrepreneurship is not going anywhere. Let's focus all our efforts on that. No. I say no. The reason that so many people became entrepreneurs, sure, had to do with unemployment. But guess what? The economy is going to level off again like it always does. So you're going to teach a whole generation of entrepreneurs, and then all the big businesses out there are going to do what? They're going to start laying people off. They're going to end up folding as all these mom and pops start rising up. There was nothing wrong with the way the American economy ran before the crash. It ran fine. And many people were perfectly happy and sought to get in with big businesses. So this is a kind of he's inciting a corporate riot here, starting with our educational system. And I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's healthy. You don't push something just because it worked in a major disaster as a new standard. It certainly is healthy for anybody to have entrepreneurial skills, but not to focus on them. And then what happens when they go to work for the big business? Well, I'm going to stay with you as long as I have to till I can get my business going, then I'm leaving you. And what's that going to do for turnover rate and churn and overall productivity of a business? That's not going to do much. Don't be ashamed of working 20 or 30 years for your company, folks. That's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're happy. You got to be happy. Andrew, over 150 grand, but you know it will flow down. The numbers of the likelihood of you and wifey two getting divorced, my supercomputing speak and spell, apparently you two are already divorced. Oh, okay. So you're saying we're already guaranteed to be divorced. All right. Okay, well, we have to go through it still. It's like saying you're going to be taller when you grow up. Yeah, I think it's awesome that Australia's Special Forces, that's the part I didn't read. Okay. Yeah, they say that's not a knife, this is a knife, and they pull out like a 7-foot long knife, and then you were going to decapitate a reporter, but your head is rolling down the sand dune, and you're going, I did not know this would happen. Who sent these people here? And the Australian guy's going, I don't see any wallabies. There's something wrong with this place. How do I do, Andrew? Did I get the accent right? Bunch of Middle Eastern bitches here, as far as I can tell. Sometimes I slip into British when I'm doing Australian. I'm very sorry about that. It's hard for us Americans. According to the string theory of the universe multiverse, there necessarily must exist a timeline along which you two divorce. Might even be this one. That's true. I agree. Today's small businesses are tomorrow's big fail taxpayer bailout companies. Too big to fail. That's right. Let's look at the news, because I got to pick on some news here. Fuck that. White House security with the, the resignation, good. That's a good start. But unacceptable. You guys know this. I don't care who the president is. Fucking unacceptable. Nobody should make it across that line. And no, you don't have to shoot him in the fucking skull. You can get some... There are all kinds of measures. All kinds of measures you can take for that to never, ever happen. No excuse. No excuse. Because had that been someone strapped with bombs, and had the president been in his residence, and had they been successful, they'd have blown the fucking place up. And it's just unacceptable. It cannot happen even once. I'm so sick of America being a reactionary country. We need to stop that. We need to be ready for it before it happens. Fuck